And as we go along, if you, as Leanne mentioned, if you think of anything that you want me to address at the end, please put it in the Q&A, and I'll be happy to stick around as long as needed at the end to answer all of your questions. And my goal today was just to give you a ton of great new ideas about how you might want to view your clients, about how you might want to build your relationships with your clients and obviously get more work from your clients. So we're gonna go through a whole lot of information today, and please take notes. I'd love to hear back from all of you afterwards about what you think about this webinar. I've been working on it a lot. I've delivered it a few times before, but every time I do one, I always try to add more new things that I've come across or ideas that I have to try to shake things up a little bit and give you some all new material. So I would love to get your feedback later on today. So let me just share my PowerPoint with you and let's get started. So first of all, I want to kind of give you an idea of what we're going to talk about today. Really what we're really talking about is having your clients love you, right? You want your clients to love you. You want their loyalty. You don't want them shopping around for other firms to do business with. You want them to always come back to you when they have a problem or when they need to get a project done. And as well, you really want to learn more about your clients. So we're going to talk about a lot of ways that you can do that, and really learn how to figure out who are your best clients. Part of the way we do that is to use the 80-20 rule. We're going to talk about the 80-20 rule. It's something that I learned about, oh wow, probably 10 years ago by reading a number of really great books on the market, and started studying the topic in depth and really trying to understand it. And I think it'll give you guys some different ways of thinking about your clients. Then we're going to go over 10 specific strategies that you can use in your business to get more work from your clients. And we'll talk about a few other firms out there and how they're building client loyalty and differentiating themselves. I always try to bring some real life examples in to what we're doing. So let's get started. So for most of the firms that I run across in the industry, this is what I see. They spend 99% of their time finding new business and very, very little time nurturing their clients, retaining clients, and intentionally focusing on their client relationships. And really, that's very, very unfortunate, because statistics will definitely show you that it is much more valuable to focus your attention on your existing clients. And the 80-20 rule and some of the other things we're going to talk about are going to show you that maybe you don't want to focus your attention on all of your clients, but just your best clients. So let's look at some very interesting industry statistics. 80% of your future revenue will come from 20% of your clients. That's the 80-20 rule, right? If you go and do an analysis of your firm's numbers, and we're going to talk a little bit in a few minutes about how you might want to start that process. There's a lot you can do there, but when you really start breaking down the numbers around your clients, I think you're going to find that this statistic holds up, and it's going to shock you. And not just 80% of future revenue, but 80% of profit will come from 20% of your clients. It'll also be the same thing where 80% of your profit will come from 20% of your project managers. So when you really learn this 80-20 rule, you can start applying it across your organization to everything you do. So existing clients convert at 60 to 70% compared to new prospects at 5 to 20. Now, really, that depends on a number of factors. Are these competitive bids, or are they clients just calling you up, giving you a work order or letter proposal? You know, there's a lot of different variations. This is a very large sample for this statistic. I think if you go look at your own numbers, I always urge my clients to, when they're calculating their win rate, to break it out 4 ways. Existing clients and new clients is the first one. And then the second one is competitive versus non-competitive bids. And I think you'll see a huge difference in your win rates for those groups. That can help you break down your own numbers and really understand where it's best to put your effort in your business. So repeat clients tend to spend at least a third more compared to new clients on a project. They trust you more. So if you tell them, hey, I think you really need to do this, they're more likely to buy in and authorize additional dollars for other work. So keep that in mind when you're talking to your existing clients. Boosting client retention by 5% can raise profits by 75%. And that's because of the statistic that how much more it costs to get a new client, right? So when you lose just 1 client out of 20, or retain that client, for example, that's not 3 or 4 other clients that you have to go find, or 10 proposals you have to do to get 1 new job. So really does pay off to focus your attention on retaining your existing clients. And then a 10% rise in customer retention yields 30% increase in the value of your company. Because what is the value of your company? If you're ever thinking about selling your company, the value of your company is determined by your prospects for future revenue. How much future revenue will the buyer of your company be able to get out of the business if they were going to buy it? And they're going to base that on your current client base and your retention rates. How many of your clients give you repeat business, and what is the difference in your revenue spread between your old clients and your new clients? And I really urge all of you to know your numbers. Understand your numbers. Where are your clients coming from? And how many of them are new clients versus older existing clients. So again, here's the same statistics spread out a different way, and this is from a different source. I always try to back up everything I say with some outside sources, looking for statistics out there that can actually help you figure out your strategy, right? Part of your strategy should be about how to get more work from your existing clients. Yet what I see in the market is people just aren't spending enough time on this. And so hopefully today you're going to get motivated, you're going to get excited, and when you see the strategies that we're going to work on, I think you're going to see that there's definitely some things you can start doing right away. So again, 6 to 7 times more expensive to gain a new customer. Now, how many proposals do you have to do to get a new customer? If it's an existing client, there's a lot less. So think about how much you spend on your proposals and the time, the money and time that you spend in going after new clients. It's high. It's a lot of money, and there's a much lower win rate. So the acquisition cost is a lot higher. So I wanted you to think about something. When you look at your own clients, why would they leave your company? Why would a client leave one of your competitors to come work with you? These are 2 really good questions to ask yourself. And this is some interesting information that I found that I thought, I always like to show things graphically. Really, if you look at it, 68% believe you don't care about them. That is a huge number. Forget all the rest of them. 68%, if you can just figure out that 68%, how do you get your clients to feel like you care about them? And why would they not feel that you care about them? What are you doing that makes them feel like you don't care about them? And that is something that if you're a business owner or a leader in your firm, you really have to try to figure out and understand. And there's a lot of ways of doing that, obviously talking to your clients, and we're gonna dig into that a little bit more later on. But we're talking about here why your clients leave But turn that around and ask yourself, well, why do they buy from you? Do you really understand when you win a new client, why they're buying from you? And why do your existing clients buy from you over and over and over again? Have you ever asked them that question? Or are you making assumptions that you think you know the answer? But you might be surprised when you hear the answers to those questions. You may think it's because of the great work you do, and it may have nothing to do with that. It may be just you're way more responsive than other companies, or your turnaround is much faster, or they just love your project managers. There could be a dozen answers to that question, but if you don't know the answer to this, then you are missing a huge opportunity. So you need to ask that. This is be a great exercise for you to go sit around with your team and ask this question. And one time I was talking to one of our clients, and I asked them this question. We have one of our courses that we teach. It's called Managing Client Relationships. And I asked the client, why do your clients buy from you? And they said, well, we make their life easier. And I said, okay, how do you make their life easier? And they had to sit and really think about that. And so, if that's what you think is the reason why your clients buy from you, then you need to sit down and write that out. How do you make your clients' life easier? Write out every possible thing you can think of. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we go on. So 9 in 10 customers will switch to the competition if you don't treat them well. This is a statistic from Entrepreneur magazine, entrepreneur.com. Really interesting study that they did where they asked clients, why have you switched to the competition in the past? And a lot of it's just how they're treated. It's the experience that they have with your company. But unfortunately, most business owners, most leaders don't really know how their clients are being treated because it's inconsistent across the organization. If you have multiple offices, multiple teams and groups of people, you may not have a consistent customer service process in place. And so that may be part of the problem. Maybe when they call your headquarters, they get great service, but when they call a branch office, they don't, or vice versa, right? Or maybe they're treated differently on a regional basis because of customs and norms that are going on within those offices. So this is something that can be a little bit hard to figure out, but if you think about it, if 9 in 10 customers will leave, if you don't treat them well, then it's worth your time to figure that out. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time with you digging into the 80-20 rule. This is something that changed my life, changed my business. Actually, it changed the way I think about everything. Because if you are treating all your clients the same, if you're treating all your prospects the same, if you're treating all your projects the same, then you're not really understanding the dynamics behind the 80-20 rule. And so what is the 80-20 rule? The 80-20 rule says that 80% of the result comes from 20% of the effort, or 20% of the population. So how do we break that down and really understand what does that mean to us when we're looking at our clients? And I've been studying Perry Marshall for a long time. I don't know, those of you who have read any of Perry Marshall's books. He's really well known for his books on Google AdWords, which I don't pay a lot of attention to. But what I did pay a lot of attention to is his book called 80-20 Sales and Marketing. And I recommend, if you're interested in this 80-20 law and you want to really understand it better, to go out and get a copy of the Perry Marshall's, it's called 80-20 Sales and Marketing. And what Perry, he puts forth this power curve in the book, and it's a really interesting concept that if you look at it closely, so if on the far left of the diagram you have all of your clients. So what this basically says is, out of 100 clients, one client will spend probably about 100 times more than the client that spends the least. So if we look at this on the left, on the axis, is their desire or ability to spend money, how much money they have and how much money they're willing to spend. And on the right is the number of customers, on the bottom axis is the number of customers. That what you see is as you go along, fewer and fewer clients will spend more money with you. And what this tells you is, even if you're dealing with prospects, new clients, or you're dealing with your existing clients, do you really know who the clients are who are willing to spend the most money? And are you offering the right things to your clients? So if you think about that, if you use a proposal template, for example, and that proposal template offers every single client who buys a certain type of project the same thing, you're missing the point. What you should be doing is saying, well, 20% of the clients will probably buy this, 40% of the clients might want more, and there's going to be a smaller percentage, anywhere from 4 to 20% of your clients who will buy a lot more from you. And if you're not offering them the right things in your proposal, then you're missing a great opportunity to upsell your clients and upsell even your new clients. So this takes a bit of work to figure out, number one, who those people are, and number two, how to present that information to them so the ones that are able and willing to spend the money will spend it. And this is a fascinating area of sales that I've spent a lot of time and effort and read a lot of books about, and now trying to share a lot of this strategy with our clients because I think it can make a huge difference in your business to understand it. So this tells you, by looking at this power chart, 72 people would spend $30, 40 people would spend $50, and 8 people would spend $200, which is significantly more than the other 72 people. So is there money being left on the table? That's a big question to ask yourself when you look at your average sales price, when you look at your clients, when you look at the way you're offering services on your proposals. Are you leaving money on the table? We've recently actually just made some major changes to our proposals with our clients because we realize not all clients are the same. Some clients are willing to spend a lot more money to get a much bigger impact in their organization. And so we try to figure out exactly what those levels are. And even to try to identify when we're first talking to a client, is this a client that wants to make a big impact? Because if they do, they're probably willing to invest more to try to get those results and get them faster. So those are a lot of questions that you need to think about. So I've put together 10 strategies for getting more work. And take good notes here. We are going to send you copies of the slides. We are going to send you a recording from today so that you can work on this with some of the other people in your firm. And as Leanne mentioned in the beginning, we have a giveaway at the end that I think you're going to want, that you're going to be able to go online and download, that will give you some more outlines and tips and detailed strategies for working on this. So number one, the first strategy is to categorize your clients. If you believe all your clients are created equal, you are wrong. When you do this analysis, the first step in this analysis, this is actually a multi-step process. You might think this sounds easy. The first time I did this, I thought, oh yeah, I could do this in a couple days. And at the time, we had hundreds of clients, hundreds and hundreds of clients, some of whom we hadn't talked to in a while, you know, and some of them we were very active with. So your first step in this is to figure out what criteria you would want to use. You need to look at qualitative and quantitative data. And that might take a while to find that data. Some of it might be in your system. Some of it might be interviewing your project managers and other people in your firm. Might be looking at some reports that you have on, you know, how fast your clients pay you, revenues, the profits, how many projects they've given you, do they give you referrals and references? on the qualitative side, do you like working with them? Do they treat your employees well? Do they expect everything for free? Are they a pain in the butt to work with? There's a lot of questions you can ask before you can determine how to categorize. So don't think this is a really easy thing. Put some thought into it. Put some effort into it. Just this one step alone will change your whole perspective on your clients. I promise you. We were working with a firm in California. They have about 100 employees. They have lots of clients, tons of clients. And they did this analysis and they found out that their largest client, they were making the lowest profit. And that's because over the years, they developed a lot of bad habits of discounting their fees and giving things away for free, lots of scope creep, over-delivering on their scope. And they found that their worst client was what they thought was their best client. And they ended up firing them, which was a great thing because that's going to raise the whole level of profitability across the rest of their clients and enable them to give their attention to their best clients. So this is step one. Step number two, get to know your clients better. What else can you learn about your clients? Write down everything you know about them. Now, what I would do, because of the 80-20 rule, I would take, let's say you have 100 clients, take your top 20 clients on the list. So after you've categorized them, take your top 20 out of 100, or 20%, and start to analyze what's going on with those clients. Write down everything you know about them, the people that work there, what kind of services do they offer if they provide services, or what kind of business lines are they in? Google them, looked at their LinkedIn pages, look at the LinkedIn pages of their key staff. Go on social media and follow their Twitter, their Instagram, their Facebook company page, their LinkedIn pages. Start following their posts. Get to know them better. You can't build a tighter relationship with a client unless you know them. You can go wider within that client. You may know 5 people. Get to know 100 people at that client's office. You'd be surprised. Sometimes the executive assistant of the CEO knows more about what's going on in the rest of the company than anybody will tell you. There's a ton of things you can do to get to know your clients better, but this is an important step. And why would you want to do this for your worst clients? Forget the bottom 20%. Forget about them. Because I actually have a theory that if you fired the bottom 20%, you would make a ton more money. Your employees would be happier, and you would just be, your whole firm would be raised to a whole nother level of quality, of profitability, and growth. Because you cannot grow a business with bad clients. You just can't. So step number 2 is get to know your clients. Now, step number 3 is get to know your markets that you're in. Who else is offering services in your market? Who are your top competitors? Who else is doing projects? Are your existing clients buying services from other companies in the same markets that you're in? And why are they? Do you really know your competition? And I have a 20-point competitive analysis tool where you take 3, 4 of your key competitors and you break down their strengths and weaknesses against your own and try to understand why would a client hire you over your competition, especially in a specific market that you are an expert in. So your market might be a service line, like healthcare or transportation, or sports, industrial, You might have quite a few markets that you might need to look at, or your market might be geography, right? So maybe you're very, very focused in core geography, and maybe it's better to know your focus in that area, because your client may be doing business outside of your core industries, markets, and outside of your core geographies, and there may be some opportunities there to expand your business in that way. If you have multiple offices and business units or markets that you're following or strategizing on, I recommend you do some deep analysis in each of those areas. Really get to know what's happening. Sometimes, you just get so busy with your head down working on projects that there just isn't enough time to do this kind of market research. But it really can help you understand what your advantages are over your competition and really help you to build those relationships with your existing clients, so that you can feel more confident in trying to pursue more business with your existing clients. So number 3, get to know your markets in a lot more depth. Number 4, know your firm. I know this sounds crazy, but if you walked around your company, how many of your employees could really tell you what your mission is, your vision for the future, and the values of your company, and how many of your employees really understand your strategy? If your strategy is something you're only sharing with your board of directors or your top business unit leaders, I think that's a huge mistake, especially if you're an employee-owned company. But even if you're not, your employees are the most valuable thing you have. Your employees are the ones that have the relationships with your clients. If your employees leave, very often those relationships go along and leave with your employee. So building stronger relationships with your clients starts with your company and your employees. If you have happy employees, of course, that's going to flow down to your clients, right? Also being able to do a SWOT analysis, understand your strengths and weaknesses and the opportunities and threats that are in the marketplace right now. And there's a lot of opportunities right now. There's actually a lot of opportunities during a recession. It's just that most people aren't prepared for a recession, so they aren't able to take advantage of those opportunities. But if you look even at your client base, if a recession hit tomorrow, would you know what to do with your existing clients to protect your relationships with those clients, to make sure that your work with them didn't end, and really focusing on what is your strength in the marketplace so that you can continue to thrive. So knowing your firm is really important. Just the same way that you would do market research for your competitors, you should do the same analysis on your own firm. Look at the diversity in your firm. So if you look at the diversity makeup of your clients, does the diversity makeup of your employees match your clients? Because that's going to tell you a lot about whether you're going to be able to build those long-term relationships. Do your employees say great things about your firm when they're talking to clients? Do they even know what to say? Do they know the elevator speech? Are they excited to work there? And do your employees feel like your company is a commodity? Or do they really believe that you're a superior firm to all the others that are out there? One other suggestion I would say is to Google your company and see what comes up. And not just your company. If you're an expert in transportation engineering in California, Google Transportation Engineering California and see what comes up. Are you in there? Are you a known entity in that marketplace? Is there something you can do to improve your brand? And I know I'm kind of drifting off into things that would also focus on new client business, but this is important to your existing clients as well. They want to know that they're working with the expert. So number 5 is evaluate your client experience. And many of you have probably heard that term, client experience. What is client experience? Well, it's a whole lot of things. It's from how you deal with your clients in the proposal process to how you onboard a new client onto your company. It's how you communicate with them, you know, email, one-on-one. Are your employees using text messaging? Are you communicating on social media even? Are you talking on the phone? Are your clients calling your office? When they call your office, what happens? Does everyone know what to do when a client calls your company? I undertook a really interesting exercise many years ago. We used to have a lot of clients calling our company, and I wanted to know what was going on when a client called. And I actually felt like we were losing opportunities, because when somebody called our company, because they were being treated in an inconsistent manner, we weren't uncovering potential opportunities for trying to solve the problems that they were calling us about. And so we undertook a whole project to develop a whole process around that just a phone call, and not just a phone call, but what happens when they call or email us? What happens? And we developed a whole process called the client inquiry process, and it gave me a lot of insight as to what was going on, and it also brought a lot of consistency into our client service capabilities. So think about that. What is the client experience? I promise you, if you have multiple offices, you have multiple client experiences. Not everyone in your firm is treating your clients exactly the same. But when you call clients, when you call companies that work for you, think about it. Which ones handle your requests in a consistent manner and which ones don't? And how do you feel about that? And what are the things that you don't like about calling companies, other companies? Maybe you get put on hold for a long time. Maybe they promise to call you back and they never do. Or maybe they solve your problem within minutes by getting you exactly to the right person immediately. Those are the types of things that really impress clients and make them want to work with your firm. But what I find is there's a lot of inconsistency across the board with many A&E firms, and it's just not something that is done at a professional level. It's not thought through the same way as if you were going to call, let's say, Southwest Airlines, for example, which I believe has a fairly good record of customer service. Not all big companies can say that. We all know many that don't. But that is definitely something that's going to impact your client's experience. And I brought up the word about onboarding. That's something you can really think about. What is your process? Do you even have it documented? Many firms document it from the standpoint of how do you enter it into your system and set up a new project. But many firms haven't thought about, well, what is the client experience around our onboarding of a new client? What do we want them to think and feel and experience in working with us? How do we impress them from the very beginning and make them excited and immediately say to themselves, yeah, I picked the right company to work with? That's what you want. It starts from the very beginning. So think about your onboarding process and what you can do about that. Number 6 is create a client retention plan. And a client retention plan is the whole reason that I brought up these companies on the screen is because all of these companies have little things that they do to keep you coming back, right? The Mileage Plus Club card. I have 2 of those, by the way. I keep using my club card because I get miles and then I can use it for free flights. So they've found a way to keep me as a customer for I think I've had it for 15 years by offering something that I want. Amazon Prime has created retention by, for $99, you get 2-day free shipping. So they've thought of something that they offer clients that nobody else offers that causes their sales to massively increase. Now, I realize you don't sell products and you're not a credit card company, but if you sometimes look at what other companies are doing to try to get and keep clients, you'll see that there's a lot of great ideas out there, right? For Apple, it's all about their client interface. It's all about that interface, which in a sense is the client experience that your client has working with you. So think about this. A client retention plan is a document that you put together that strategically and intentionally helps you retain specific clients. So let's say you determine your 5 best clients when you do step number 1, which is categorizing your clients. Let's say you identify that 5 of your clients are bringing in 60% of your revenue. And I bet you, if you do an analysis, that's what you're going to find. 5 of your clients are bringing in 60% of your revenue. Okay? And that may be on a business unit by business unit basis, but I think you're going to find this is the case. So if that's the case, it's definitely worth spending a lot of extra time on those 5 clients. So a client retention plan is a step-by-step strategy for making sure that that client is delighted with everything about working with your company and that there's a specific strategy to get more work from them. One of the things I'm going to offer you at the end today is a way to download an outline of a typical client retention plan that I designed and that we do with our clients. And so if you stick around to the end, you'll see that there is a URL there for you to go in and immediately download a copy of our client retention guide. So think about that, how you could do that. Number 7, you want to have lots of case studies and interviews. Interview your clients. And if you can interview them on video, that's even better. But sometimes you might just want to interview them. Face-to-face is the best way to interview a client. And put together an outline of the questions that you want to ask them so that you can capture the key information about what their problems were that they hired you to fix, why they picked your firm over other firms, and how you solved their problem. And then you want to talk about the results that you gave them. And be as specific as possible, right? And think about the kinds of things that your firm does that maybe nobody else is doing. Maybe you save them $200,000 or more in a certain phase of your project, or $1 million in construction costs, right? Because of some work that you did that was very innovative. So case studies are your proof to the world that you are doing a great job and that your clients love you. And just the fact that you're going and interviewing your clients, and I would suggest starting with those top 5 clients, if your clients really love you, they will definitely agree to an interview. That's been my experience. And you will get so much great information from that interview. Not only will you have a better idea how to keep them happy, but you may end up uncovering some more opportunities on ways that you can work together with them. So case studies are a really great way to do that. And we have a couple examples of case studies on our website if you want to go look at them. You know, there is a really great kind of standardized structure for a case study that you can adopt internally. So it's really not a ton of work to put these together. So number 8 is assess the value that you bring to your clients and how your company differentiates. And here's where your existing clients are really going to be valuable to you, because they're going to tell you a lot of this. By going through that interview process, what you want to be looking for is how you're different, how the kind of value that you bring to them. one of the reasons our clients love us is we continue to add value to them even when we're not actively working on a project with them, right? So we work with our clients through a 12-week program of helping them improve their profits. And sometimes we do follow-on projects after that with additional employees in their firm. But sometimes we're not talking to them for several months, or a while goes by and we're not talking to them. But we don't want to lose their attention because they may have another problem down the road that they will need our help with. And we want to be the first company they think of every time they have a business or financial problem. We want them to think of us, that we can maybe provide them some great solutions to help them address their problems. So we really need to keep delivering value to them. And one way we do that is with content. We do blog posts, we do webinars, we speak at conferences. We have our own annual conference, this Profitability Summit. We do our client awards every year, which really helps our clients to differentiate themselves in the marketplace. And so think about what you can do to differentiate your company. And one way to do that is through content. It's to understand the true value you bring to your clients and then write about it and write all kinds of articles about it and offer them as much great advice as you can, because then they're going to see you as the expert. They're going to keep coming back over and over and over again, wanting to work with you because you are going to be the trusted authority that they come to with whatever type of architecture or engineering type problem or environmental problem that they have. So really understanding your firm's value. And this is something that, you can communicate this throughout your company. All of your employees should understand this value. And all of your employees should be able to recognize opportunities when they're at a client's office or they're in a meeting with a client. They should be able to recognize these opportunities because they understand everything that your company does and be able to talk about it. And that's just something that a lot of firms have not really done a great job of. I work with companies all the time where when we're doing our Find the Lost Dollars program, and we'll have multiple offices involved in our program at the same time. And it's amazing to me that one office has no idea what's going on in another office. They don't know who their clients are. They don't know what kind of projects they're working on. They don't even know the other people that work in the other offices. So it's very, very hard to upsell and cross-sell. And so the next thing that we're going to talk about is how do you upsell and cross-sell? Upselling and cross-selling is probably the first thing you thought of when you saw the title for this web training. You thought to yourself, oh, well, of course, this is about upselling and cross-selling, right? We want to sell more to our existing clients. So we're going to sell them more with each project. And then we're also going to go wider and sell them more services across our organization with different types of services and different types of things that we can do for them. And that is what upselling and cross-selling is. But what I talked about a minute ago is really what the big problem is with upselling and cross-selling. It's silos. If you have silos in your company where people don't talk to each other, they don't communicate, you don't have a really active, intentional process within your firm to upsell and cross-sell, when you don't have an intentional process to help the people within your company get to know each other better, get to understand the clients and projects that other groups are working on, and all the types of services that they offer. If others don't know that, how are you going to be able to upsell and cross-sell? You're going to be leaving so many opportunities on the table. And one of the things that you can do in the process of upselling and cross-selling is to educate your clients. I had a client that was telling me a story recently where they had a guy within their firm who he was tasked with trying to upsell and cross-sell more with the individual existing clients. And so one of the things he did was just start scheduling meetings with them and educating them on all the types of services that his firm offered. And he said his clients had no idea. And he was able to bring in like $100,000 of new business in like a month or two, just with extra services that his clients didn't even know. They were going out and hiring other firms to do things that his firm could do. And it's because they didn't know that his firm actually offered those types of services. You know, over the years, your firm may have grown. You may have done an acquisition. You may have hired people, opened up a new office with new skill sets. And your clients don't always know about that. They don't read all the press releases you send out. You know, they just really don't know what you guys can do. And in order to get more work from them, you have to let them know what you can do. So having more collaboration between your offices and teams is going to make a big difference. Educating your clients. And also one other thing that I always amazed me is the idea that, you know, there may be other things that would be really easy to add on or tack on that you haven't thought about, or you're just not offering them at the time of your client buying from you or starting a new project. And let me give you an example. This has nothing to do with A&E business, but I always thought this to myself. Whenever I am in the nail salon getting a pedicure, there have been 3 or 4 times when I went to get a pedicure where I forgot my flip-flops. And I was like, darn, I forgot my flip-flops and I can't put my my tennis shoes back on because it'll ruin my new pedicure. I'm sure all the guys in the audience can relate to this right now. Sorry about that. But think about it this way. Now, what if the nail salon sold flip-flops? What would be the likelihood that I would buy some? While I was sitting there, while I had that pain point right there, and I needed it, and it was right there in front of me. And I think that's the mistake that a lot of firms make, is you're not thinking of all the other things that their client might want to buy. And when you're thinking about the 80-20 rule, there are at least 20% of your clients will buy more from you at the time of sale. And if you're not offering those things to them, then they may not even be thinking about it or even know that that's something that you could do for them. So don't expect that your client knows what they want, what they need, or what you can do for them. They don't. I promise you, most of them don't know that. And the last strategy that I'm going to share with you today is that you really need a good CRM system in order to capture as much information about your clients as possible. You cannot leave this stuff to memory. And your client relationship management or CRM system, it's going to be a wonderful tool for you to help with your customer service, to keep track of your promises that you made to your clients so that you get back to them timely with answers to their questions. And that's a really big part of understanding the client experience, is whether your clients are getting their problems solved quickly, whether they're getting the support they need, the quality, the CRM is going to help you maintain personal information that you might want to track about your clients. And that's an important component of a good client retention plan. And the getting to know your clients better is capturing the information about them. Do your clients love golf? Where do they hang out? What do they read? You know, what is important to them? Are you capturing notes from your conversations with your clients so that you can remember to follow up with them? If they tell you, oh, we're moving our office and in 6 months we're going to start a new project, blah, 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 are you going to remember that? You're probably not. You know, and you need to put that in your CRM and set up a reminder to call them back. It's also going to help you have a great sales process, because the sales process starts with accountability, setting goals, measuring sales results, measuring client happiness, client size. There's so many things that you can track in a client relationship system that is going to help you build stronger relationships with your clients, increase your sales, and just overall deliver much better services to your clients. So I highly recommend you get a CRM. If you already have one, I'd be interested to hear about how it's going, because many companies that I talk with are not happy with how they're using their CRM. And so that may be an issue that you need to address further. You may have one, but you may not be really using it very well. And that may be something that you've even tried to do multiple times, had limited success. I highly recommend you bring in an expert, because marketing people are not experts on CRM. CRM is a specific skill set within itself, and a CRM expert will be able to help add a lot of value in terms of developing workflows and new business processes that can help you be more effective in capturing information and using it within your CRM system. And I know that from experience, because I did that for 25 years. So I implemented several great client relationship management systems. You may remember RFP. You may remember, or many of you might use Deltek Vision CRM. I've used all of them. AE Marketing Manager was another one. I'm really dating myself here, because I started working with CRMs back in the 80s. And they've gotten so much better now. There's so many more things you can do with them, and use email marketing to nurture your clients and all kinds of things. So really take a look at what you're doing. If you implemented your CRM 5 or more years ago, you're probably not taking advantage of newer technology that's available today that can be very beneficial for you. So I hope that these 10 tips have been really, really helpful for you, and that you have a whole lot of great ideas, a lot of motivation. And so I want to give you a couple ideas about some things that you can do as your next steps. First of all, you can download a copy of my client retention guide. It's really just an outline. It's an outline that gives you a step-by-step of how to develop a client retention plan for a specific client, or maybe a small group of clients. And so go ahead to aecbusiness.com/client retention and download that. Now, we were having a little bit of problem with that link. So if it's not working right away, come back a little bit later. Leanne's going to be sending out a copy of the recording for you, so that you can have all the information that we talked about, the slides from today, the recording of the webinar, and the links here to download the client retention guide. So if it doesn't work, try it a little bit later. We're tweaking it right now, and we'll get it fixed right away.
Yeah, June, I'll just pop in and let you know it's not working yet. So when you get the link from me, as June mentioned, then it'll be ready to go. But I just checked and it's not working. So.
Okay, yeah, we needed to fix it. We moved some things around and changed some things this morning to make it easier for you to get that. So it's just, we'll get it fixed probably in the next couple hours. The next thing I wanted to let you know about is our next web training on September 18th. In our next web training, Getting Employees to Think and Act Like Owners. Again, this is a new webinar. Even if you sat through it a year ago or even 6 months ago, I've changed up a lot of the content. It's got some new things in it that I want to talk with you about, and give you some clues about why your employees do what they do and how to get them to do things the way you want them to do them. And you can go to this URL, and you'll see that that's the next webinar that's listed on our list of webinars coming up. And you can go sign up for that. And in that webinar, we are also going to give you more examples of some firms that we work with and some transformational changes that they were able to make in their companies, and how that translated the translation between getting your employees to think and act like owners and translating that into higher profits, and how that all works, because I think you're going to find that really exciting and really beneficial for you and others in your firm. So go ahead and sign up a group of people in your company and get together in your conference room and then talk about it, because it really is, I think, more powerful when you have a group of people together and you're all discussing it and talking about it and getting building off of your ideas from each other. So that's another webinar that you can attend from ours next week. One other thing I'd like to mention, I am going on a road show starting next week in Dallas at the Zweig conference. I am speaking next week at the Zweig conference on Friday in Dallas. And then, oh boy, I have so many great conferences I'm attending and speaking at, and Leanne and I are going to be at several of them and sponsoring. I'm going to be at the Chief Executive Network in St. Louis on October 4th. We're going to be in San Diego for the PSMJ Thrive Conference. We're going to be at ACEC Fall Conference in Las Vegas at the beautiful Bellagio. And then I fly straight from there on Halloween to Nashville for the GBA. Many of you, I believe, are GBA members. You do not want to miss the GBA conference in Nashville. GBA is always one of my top conferences every year. They have a great spring and a great fall conference. Wonderful people, smart people, great networking, and they have some excellent breakout sessions I think that you're going to find really valuable. So if you're going to be at GBA, let me know. And then I go to Deltec Insight Conference in Dallas again at the beginning of November, and then again at the ROG Conference in Naples at the second week of November. So this is a really busy schedule that I have over the next couple months, and I would love it if any of you are going to be at any of these events. Send me an email. Email me at jjuel@aecbusiness.com and let me know, and maybe we can connect there, because I really love meeting people and hearing from you, and you can attend my sessions if you're going to be at one of the ones that I'm speaking at 3 or 4 of those. So I'd love for you to let me know if you're going to be attending that. And then I didn't know whether we had any questions. Let's see.
Yeah, not so far. I don't see anything.
Okay. Well, thank you all for attending. If you do have any questions, let me know. Go ahead and email me if you like, or if you want to talk further, let me know. Happy to schedule a quick call with you and see if there's anything that I can help you with. I hope you'll try to attend our webinar next week. It's a really great one. Thanks so much for your time today. I hope this was really valuable for you. If it was, I'd love to hear from you. That really helps me to make my work and my contribution a lot more valuable for you every month. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all soon.